Recording. All right. Welcome to my interview with Dr. Lynn Carey. I'm really excited today to have you here, Lynn. And just a short introduction. She is an author and loves to empower individuals to create their desired life of health, wealth, and perfect self-expression. And before I talk now too much about her, so I think she can, say who she is herself. So this leads me to the first question. Who are you?
Well, I'm excited to be here too, Felix. Thank you for having me. So, I think a soul on a journey of finding out why we're here. That's my ultimate, and it's ongoing, it's ever evolving. And I knew from the time I was a kid that we were made for more. There had to be more to life than this, because I really did not want to be here with what I was shown life was. I just hated school. My family worked all the time. There was just no happiness or joy. I didn't see any purpose. It was like to survive, It was like we had to keep working to pay the bills, but there always never seemed to be enough, or it was just enough. We had to watch everything, and there wasn't any fun. And I just thought, well, what's the point? And so I just, I really believe I was really torn, because I didn't want to be here. And yet part of me, there was an inner knowing that I was here for a reason, right? And I really believe that manifested as a disease, like that. I was diagnosed with scoliosis when I was 14, and my family just did what the medical world said, and I ended up having Harrington rod surgery. So I had rods put in my back and to stop the scoliosis. And the surgery itself was a success, according to them, but it left me sick and in pain for the next 5 years. I was just sick all the time. I would go to different doctors. I would say, why do I keep getting sick? Whether it was strep throat, different pain, and pain down my legs would be horrendous. I wouldn't be able to walk, or, it was just on and off. So I was in college because I was told this is what you do to be successful in life, even though I hated school. Someone told me to look into chiropractic, and it said the power that made the body heals the body. And I was like, why hasn't anyone said this to me? It was like the first time I heard truth. And I just went to chiropractic school on that philosophy. And it started my spiritual journey. It started a journey of changing my whole life.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, it's always interesting to hear different stories from different individuals, right? How they was finding their passion in life, and to hear also more times that some individuals thought they don't fit in here, don't fit in the system, and so. And I have also similar story, right, with my school time, especially with my school time. And you mentioned also something really important, that other people want you to make this and this, and you know tried to, when I understood it right, tried to, how we can say that, try to take their opinions onto you, right? Or their beliefs, their worldviews, what you have to become. It's more the question what you want to become, right? So
Yeah, and I feel like when I grew up, it was very rigid, because I don't feel like times are as rigid now. I didn't have internet. So it was like, it was just what you saw in your world. TV, I mean, I didn't have that many channels. It was basic cable. And my mom is just old school Italian Catholic. And so they're very rigid in their thinking, and they're in a box. And it was painful for me. And no one had an answer for me either. That was what was more frustrating. I questioned everything. They didn't have an answer. And in fact, I found all my answers as an adult, and I realized everything they taught me was wrong. I had to undo everything. But that was the experience.
That was the experience. Or I believe it's still the experience, right? That you have to question. You said it. You said it. We have to question everything, right? So,
Definitely.
uh, yeah, definitely. I had also yesterday in the evening a good friend visited me, and we have always deep conversations. So uh, about that we can talk also maybe the topic consuming and the average of the five, right? But uh, we talked also about this thing, this questioning everything, and that the world needs to wake up, right? So maybe you can also say something about that in terms of nutrition and in the topic health in general. So because I wrote also that you made a degree, right, in nutrition, and yeah, it would be really interesting to hear from your opinions on that.
So I got into practice because I really was passionate about sharing my message that I knew we could heal ourselves of disease and all the struggles, especially that the medical world puts on us. I knew didn't exist. I knew there was another way. And I thought,
Mm,
people need to know this. It was about empowering your life. That's really
mm,
what I wanted. But I realized when I got out in practice, I realized most people weren't ready to hear what I had to say, you
mhm,
know? And I
mm,
was shocked. I would deliberately tell someone, you don't need that back surgery. It's going to do you more harm. Oh, but it's okay. I have it scheduled already. I'm just going to do it. And I was like, oh, wow. That's just one. They just really, most people wanted a quick fix from me. Maybe the pills weren't working. They wanted to get adjusted, get fixed. That's
yeah.
not how it worked. It took me a couple years to feel better. And it was a
Mm,
lot of me changing my mindset and educating myself on
mm,
natural healing and what the body does. It really shocked me. And I really questioned. I'm like, why do people keep getting sick? Why do some people heal? Some people don't. Why do people have these chronic patterns? And I knew it was stress. It was stress of not enjoying your life, not
mm,
finding purpose, just going
mm,
to a job to make ends meet, pay the bills. And they didn't have time. I called it the rat race, like they just were always busy, busy just surviving. And a lot of people didn't want to stop to explore that. And I realized a lot of people even created disease to get out of the rat race. Like, that's the only way that society accepts that you need a break from life, like support yourself, trying to pay the bills, take care of the kids, do all the house, all this stuff is draining them, but they don't know a way out. And if you don't deal with that energy, the body manifests as disease because it has to express the energy. It's trying to communicate with you. I realized
mm,
all these different areas of life affect the body. And that's why I'm so passionate about people really creating their best life, their desired life. Because if you don't, you're going to have blockages in your life, whether it's physical or I think that's why accidents happen. That's why all these
mm.
things happen. It's signs for you to wake up to your true self.
Beautiful. Yeah, I see also more why we humans get sick. And by the way, that's a fact that the world is sick, right? But
Oh,
we can heal it. And that's a really big topic, health. And I'm also extremely passionate about self-confidence and self-love, and I see that everything is connected also with the holistic health, with the mind, body, and soul. And I also really like what you're doing then. And I say always there are different life pillars, right? There are different life pillars, for example, with physical health, then the emotional health, or also finances. Finances is also a really big topic, and I think you are also really successful in that area, right? And now maybe you can tell us also a bit about that, the finances. For me, it's also a really interesting topic for me personally. Maybe also for the listeners, because I truly believe also that the finances is the same important as, for example, your physical health, your emotional health, and also other life pillars that we have in our life. So what do you think where the people can start when they, yeah, just want to top up their financial pillar?
Yeah, so if you really pay attention, you realize that money controls everything you do, right? Every choice you make, from how you spend your day to what you eat, to how everything. And so I don't know how people don't want to know more about that. I wanted to know why this thing was controlling me. And
Yeah.
I obliviously got out, open to practice with, like, I was ignorance on fire. And then I had to actually run the practice. I had to get people in the door. I had
Mm,
to pay the rent. And I saw that I'm like, this is crazy. And, I worked after school. My family had a business. So I always worked after through high school and
mm,
college. And I used to question, my family would tell me to, if you want to buy something, you save for it, right?
mm,
But the thing is that I would save for something and then I would buy it. And I would always question, like, the thing that I bought, was it worth all the time that I spent saving for it? And then it was gone in 1 second. So
mm,
nobody ever taught me about building real wealth or
mm,
assets, right? And so when I got into practice, it was the same thing. I thought, gosh, how many people do I have to adjust just to
mm,
pay the rent on this office space? I couldn't, it just didn't sit well with me. So I just started reading, because that's what I did. I would read to educate myself, because everybody around me didn't have answers. I never found anybody. That's always been my problem, finding mentors or people who actually live the life I want to live. I've always been like the Lone Ranger, with these ideas. And so I found a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert
oh,
Kiyosaki.
that's a good one that I
So
can
good.
also recommend.
I was reading these other books who were talking about saving your money, investing for the long term. And you know what? Screw these people. It doesn't work, because especially now with inflation and the cost of living, and our we don't even have a real economy. It's all corrupted.
Mm,
So it's like that doesn't work anymore. It might have worked in my parents' day, but and then they would like try to put the guilt on us that we just want to live bigger. We don't live below our means. No, it's impossible. If I tried to save, I'd have some expense come up that I didn't prepare
mhm,
for, repair, or just another, bill in my practice, just something. I wasn't being frivolous. And I thought, this is crazy. But I was really angry when I read that book, because I thought, now what do I do? I already saw that my practice was in the rat race. So people think, oh, you have your own business.
mm,
You're That's good, right? I'm like, well, not a small business, because now you have the worst of both worlds. You have all the headaches of entrepreneurism, but
mm,
no financial freedom, because if you're not there, you don't get paid. I could only get paid by how many people I adjusted. So I went on a journey to learn, well, how do I build real wealth? How do I build multiple streams of income? It's not easy. I'm still figuring it out. These last 3 years gave me another derailment. But so I just think that's a whole nother journey. But really, the energy of money, and it's all your beliefs too that show up, right? All your limiting beliefs when you start to be an entrepreneur or work on something different. You have
yeah,
fears that come up. You have to find the right mentorship. You have to educate yourself on how to
mm,
do it. So
yeah,
it has not been an easy road for me, but it's important, because it has made me grow as a person so much that I wouldn't trade it for the world. The wisdom that you get
yeah,
and the
exactly.
experience, I wouldn't change that.
Yeah, I asked that question because, as I say always, everything is connected, right? And when we want optimal health and when we just want optimize our life, then is money also important because it can buy you that things you want, or it can help you to create a better life. But anyway, everything comes from the inside, and you have to become first this person from the inside that attracts all of that abundance and everything like that, right? So also with your health. For example, with me, with my Tourette syndrome and my ADHD, so that I can just live better with that. So I have to just go in myself and have to change something in me. And mm, I really believe also, when you want a life you truly love, you have to go within yourself, right? Within yourself. And there you find the answers. And when you find then also your passion, and you can live from your passion, from the thing you love to do, you generate then a good income. This is also a factor that you live a happier life, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, and that leads me also a bit to the next question, with struggles, because we all have struggles in our life, and it's completely normal. And I think we have that our whole life. There's no one in this world here that has no struggles. It's the same with negative and positive. Without negative, no positive. So without polarity, no life. And I truly believe that we also have to go through the struggles, through this growth problems, to come out to the another side, to the healing, to the growth, etc. And now it would be also really interesting for me to know what struggles did you face in your healing journey. And I'm not sure, but do you write this also in your book?
Yeah, so I definitely share my healing story in my book. It's called My
Mm,
Journey to Grace. But it was a long road. So before I found chiropractic, it was a good 5 years that I really had severe pain and symptoms. Always got sick. My immune system was just so shot from the surgery and so compromised. So I was susceptible to everything. And then I would get more and more depressed because I felt so bad. So it was just a continual spiral, you know,
mhm,
of struggle. And then when I got to chiropractic school, I started getting adjusted. And it wasn't a quick fix. In fact, it brought up more pain because when you start really getting in tune with the energy of your body, it has to release layers and layers of trauma from surgeries. I had just years of pain built up in there and stuff that had to release, and emotional stuff,
mhm,
right? All that starts to surface. So it was a good couple years till I really balanced out where I wasn't afraid of the pain, and then eventually the pain started to go away. But I was empowered because I was really learning how the body heals, that symptoms are good. It's the way your body rebalances itself. And yet we're taught in the mainstream medical world that to cover up the symptoms. We always want to get rid of the symptoms. In chiropractic world, we allow the symptoms to express themselves because the body has to do what it has to do. So it's a whole different perspective. So
yeah.
that really empowered me not to be afraid of what I was going through anymore. And I knew I could heal. And
Yeah.
once I felt that, it was a turning point. And I got my life together. And, I would never, as much as I would never tell someone to have the surgery that I had.
Mhm,
In fact, I beg them not to. I've seen mothers ask me about their daughters, should I have this surgery for the scoliosis? Please don't. That's what I say. But most people end up doing it because you know what? They don't have time for real healing. Isn't that sad? Like I realized, so people don't make time for real healing. They just want it to go away. So let me just do what the doctor says and. But I wouldn't change it for the world because even though I wouldn't repeat that, I wouldn't have the surgery, I wouldn't choose that at this time. I
mhm,
wouldn't change anything in my life in that respect, especially because I'm so free in my body and my health. I have no fears. Like I don't live in fear of getting some disease. I don't go to the doctor and get probed for some test to tell me what I have. I don't live in that world anymore. I walked away from it 25 years ago and I've never been healthier. I'm so empowered and I just see how other people live and the decisions they make for themselves. And I'm glad I don't live there anymore. So it's a blessing.
yeah, that's a really big topic with your own health. And What I see also again and again, but by the way, that's just this system and the most of the people without attacking them now. So they are just still asleep. And we humans, we just have to wake up because much people talk also, no, not much people, but some people talk also about this matrix. And when we think about in terms of the matrix, then we could think about this system, that the system is the matrix and the system makes us sick. And the the point when we start to change our lifestyle, then also our health starts to change. But yeah, this I see also that much people just don't have time in quotes for their healing. Then we can ask ourselves why these people don't have time, right? So I don't know, do you dealt also by the way with that?
Absolutely. And that comes back to the money because no one's financially free, I believe. You
Yeah,
know, we're tied to have to live a certain way because of finances. And I just think
yeah,
that used to drive me crazy. Even people are choosing how to take care of their health by what the insurance dictates, especially in the States, instead of, because otherwise, if they have to pay for alternative care, whether it's, I call that the real healing, like if you want to have body work done or acupuncture, naturopath, massage, chiropractic, just buying clean food. In the States, our food system is terrible.
no,
I think Europe
it's
is so
not.
much better. But
Uh,
like,
yeah,
well,
maybe it's also not so good here
not
in
so good as
Germany. So
well, I used
it,
to feel you had a higher standard than we did here, but
probably.
organic food and clean products, it costs more. And I realized people couldn't afford it. Or if
Yeah,
they needed to take off time from their job to really heal, because you might
yeah,
need a month or two. They couldn't do it. Not in our system. So that's an issue. That's why I'm so big about people becoming financially free, because you're never going to have ultimate well-being. And I don't understand people who don't want to look at that. It blows my mind. But then again, I saw so many people not wanting to wake up to the responsibility of their own life. They want someone to do it for them. And that's why we're in the situation we are today. If you want to,
yeah,
it's interesting. I really believe the matrix now. I understand these last 3 years, it's deliberate that we've been trained to be slaves, and we have
yeah,
been enslaved. The system is designed to enslave you, to make you sick, to make you in poverty, and to really
yeah,
dumb down your expression. And I wouldn't have said that maybe even 4 years ago, because I saw what the medical world was doing in 30 years. I had my own experience, and I thought, it just doesn't make sense. They're actually choosing things that make us sick as the treatment, right? But I
yeah,
thought, well, maybe it's the journey of the soul to wake up to your own empowerment. Maybe this is why it's happening. And that's the only thing I could explain. But when I got into practice, I was kind of angry. I was kind of like anti-medical. And I realized I had to calm that down. I realized I wanted to just be an example for people, to show them another way, an alternative way to find happiness, healing, wealth. I'm going to make my life an example. And if people are attracted to that, they come to me. And I thought everybody has to
yeah,
evolve at their own pace. Then I really started, for me, I had a long health journey. I figured that out for myself. Now I
mm,
was on the financial journey. So I was doing the rich dad, poor dad things to make myself free, but
yeah,
I never understood the economy. Something wasn't right. I had real estate properties and the
mm,
market crashed in 2008. And I thought I lost like everything. I'm like, why did this happen? He didn't
yeah,
talk about the cycles of the economy and how I can learn that. I really just started reading again. And I went
mm,
deeper. I understood about the Federal Reserve System in the States, how it prints money, and that we don't have real money. It's not backed by gold. You know,
mm,
a lot of government regulation is causing these booms and bust cycles. And I was really studying libertarian perspectives, Austrian economics versus Keynesian economics, what true capitalism is. Not, they say we have capitalism. We don't have true capitalism. There's government intervention. A true capitalism is a free market where the market self-regulates by supply and demand. The booms and bust cycles would not be this extreme. You see, the
all
cost of
right,
living
yeah,
wouldn't keep going up. So
yeah,
I really had all these pieces. And then when the world locked down 3 years ago, I knew we were in big trouble because they were talking about this evil that was running the world, right? Creating a new
Mm,
world order. I said, well, maybe that's possible, but I'm not going to live my life worried about that. I'm just going to become healthy, financially free,
yeah.
right? Have a good mindset, create my desired life. But that lockdown was destroyed everything I built in the 3 years before. And
Mm,
I lost my whole network because people were really not liking that I was speaking about health freedom. They were okay with having their business closed or wearing a mask. I knew it was wrong. And I knew at that point, I'm like, this is deliberate. And it's kind of funny because all the pieces that I had studied my whole life all came into focus. But what I did was I learned about my Constitution here in the United States. I took a constitutional course. I started studying
mhm,
people who were doing that kind of work, constitutional lawyers, right? And I learned a lot. And I know now how to even understand government because I never followed politics. I never
mm,
followed government because it knew when I watched the politician, the man was lying or the woman, they're lying. Like what they say doesn't even make sense. If you listen to them, they just talk in circles. So how were they solving any problems? So I never paid attention to that. Once
mhm.
you understand the constitution of your country, your basic natural rights, your sovereign born rights, everything becomes clear. And you realize that 99% of the people running our world are criminals because they're
Yeah,
doing stuff that that are illegal, and we have accepted that that's normal now. This is how far gone we have become.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we humans, it's there, there we are again. We just have to walk through life with an open mind to create a better world and also to create a better health for ourselves, health and wealth. So, and this is it's just so crazy. You can't talk about that shit with everyone because most of the people uh, say then again, yeah, you're just a conspiracy theorist and blah blah blah, and they just don't want to believe. But when you start to truly see, and what I see also more and more, when you walk in this spiritual journey, right? When you go down this rabbit hole, follow the right rabbits, so you don't come out anymore because there's so much to experience, and you can't just close your eyes anymore. It's just impossible. You just see so much what goes wrong in the system and how they, in quotes, I'm not sure who is they, and I also don't want to go too deep into this now and my YouTube channel here and on my podcast, but it's such interesting topic. And the one thing is to truly see and to just open your eyes, and not this eyes here, the other eyes that you have. And then we come in the seven chakras and the soul work and so. But also just look without judging or without thinking, oh no, this can't be right. No, the government wants our best, and the pharma industry also. They make medicals that heals us. So, and we can believe everything completely blindly, right? So we just have to look. But what I also experienced myself, when I look too much on that things, when I go too deep into these things, then there is also a too high risk to fall again into the depression and everything like that. And there we have to make a balance, to focus also really on ourselves, on our health, and so. Uh, but yeah, for these people now who are still watching this, yeah, you're training your attentiveness and discipline is also really much to do with creating a better life for yourself, right? So maybe you can say also something to that. So, but I really see that discipline and attentiveness for the right things is essential to create a better life for yourself.
Attention rebels and dreamers. I just need short your attention. Ever wish your podcast experience was interruption free? Yeah, me either. So let's be honest, sometimes this advertisement is pretty annoying. So guess what? Make it happen. Give us a stellar 5-star rating and your passport to a podcast paradise without annoying ads. Expect my shameless self-promotion, of course. And yes, I say us because without you, none of this would exist like now. So follow, share with your friends, and let's spread out this message to create a better world together. So, but now let's talk growth. I'm so stoked to unveil an invitation for your journey, especially if you crave more from life, right? I specialize myself in self-love for those with disabilities and simply for those who are hungry for more in life. One-on-one sessions with me, plus exclusive access to the White Rabbit Mastermind Sharing Circle. And I make sure that you as a pioneer has as much benefits as possible, right? So imagine a space where self-doubt and societal expectations evaporate, embrace self-love, and also just anyway, as I say it always in my teachings, acceptance is the beginning, is the start for healing, for growth. So, and embracing is exact the same thing, because you start with acceptance and gratitude for that what you already have. So, but anyway, whether you battle self-esteem, lows, societal pressures, or just seek holistic health, time to unleash your true potential with a touch of spirituality for sure. So ready for the red pill coaching program for personalized guidance. So it's depend on you. Every day you decide if you take the red pill or the blue pill, right? Break free from limiting beliefs and master your mind, body, and soul. Living with ADHD and Tourette syndrome, I've transformed my life, overcoming depression, low self-worth, from school bullying, and even the loss of my dad when I was 14 on Christmas, and much other influential experiences. And I also don't say this now because I want pity. No, I say this because I want give you much motivation and inspiration, right? So I could go deeper now into it, but for that I make an extra video, my story. So with that said, jump with me on a call and we see how I can help you. Book your free 30-minute consultation call and just DM me over Insta, or just simply write me an email over felixpoyel@gmail.com. And the booking link for that game-changing free consultation you find in my Insta bio or YouTube channel, or YouTube description down below here also when you listen on the podcast, in the podcast description, and as well as all my other links. And before we go back now into the video, the episode, I need to say you one quote: the best investment by far, really by far, you can make is in yourself. It will not only improve your life, it will improve the lives of all those around you. So, and now with that said, enjoy the rest from the video or the episode.
To just get more healthier and wealthier.
So I'll tell you, I look at the last 3 years and it could look for me like it really wrecked my life, but I feel so empowered by it because first couple of years, I definitely taught myself about the Constitution. So now I understand it's important to get involved with your local county government. So I think it's important to, do what you can, educate yourself at least so you can make choices to understand what's going on there. I was very much shifted from creating my desired life to I felt like I was in a fight. And I don't like living like that. When I got into practice, I felt like I was in a fight, and I didn't like that either. It was necessary at the time, I believe. But then this year, I believe I really got into getting back to, I felt the spiritual energy coming back bigger and stronger than ever this year. And I believe we are in a huge spiritual awakening right now in humanity. And, you know, that's a lot of things that I find a lot of the people that I would call freedom fighters, the truthers, people who are doing the work to get involved with local county government and the people that I met along the way on this freedom journey. God bless them, right? Thank God. But I did see a big piece missing. I don't see people working on their health, working on their wealth, working, you know, so I still believe that's the most important work we can do right now because it raises your consciousness. And if we really want to shift humanity, if we really want to raise the vibration of this planet, we have to do the inner work. So I believe it's all these, even understanding your constitution and your natural rights, understanding how to become your own best doctor, how to become financially free, and work on your mindset. Your mindset controls everything. It dictates your life, right? And you have to get in tune with your perspective in life and how you're choosing to make choices. Why? Understanding limiting beliefs. This is how we empower ourselves. It's so important. Now I feel like it's more important than ever. That's why I'm so passionate about sharing my experience, my story, because I believe now we need more stories of healing. We need more stories of empowerment. We need more solutions because we're creating a new world and we're leaving the old behind. The matrix is crumbling. Thank God. It's not fast enough, but I know in my heart it's happening. I can feel it. I just believe this year it's a different vibration than it was last year, the year before. You know, it feels different, and I know we're coming out of this. So I want to leave people with hope. But you can't. It's so important to do the inner work. That's the basis of it all.
Yeah. But what do you would say to people? For example, some people also that are just listen that now. So maybe some people, I'm not sure, but I see this also sometimes that some people just start on this self-improvement journey and spiritual journey and healing journey, and they have so much motivation and they just buy a book and they start to read, but some when they just stop and maybe they have kids at home and then they have something else and then comes this and this and this, and long story short, it's just excuses. Sorry when I say it so harsh, but it's just fucking excuses. And there comes always things from the outside to us, but then it's the thing how we react. And maybe some people just start and then they fall into old patterns, into old habits, and then they just come at home from work, maybe also from a work they don't like, employment, and there we are also again on this topic, right? Financial freedom and living your purpose. But maybe they just come at home from work and then they have something to do at home, housework, and so yeah, sure, maybe we have to do that, but then comes something else and then this, and then they think, oh, now I'm so finished and I don't want to make that and that. I just look now Netflix, and nothing against looking something from Netflix, but we need to have this balance. I also sometimes look something in Netflix, but maybe once a week, and then also only when I done the fucking work, the work for myself, the work for my business, etc., etc. But it's much times also what I see. It's not the knowledge; it's also the implementing the knowledge, right? And then people also probably have that question, but where can I start on my self-healing journey and how I can make forward with that, or how I can have this discipline, this consistency, right? So what they can make.
So I think there's a couple of things. One, the pain of not living the way I want to has always been greater than making the change. I've never been afraid to make the change. I've always been able to work towards it. It's my nature. So I don't understand people who stop. I don't understand that mindset. So forgive me. I might not have answers for that. But I think the problem comes from because people make it too rigid. Here's the thing, like, oh, I want to get on a health journey. So now I'm going to exercise as many times a week. I'm going to deprive myself of everything I like to eat and eat a certain way, So I think
like now the New Year goals. It comes, oh yeah, I go in the gym. I make this the whole year, and then the first 2 months it's the gym completely full, and then after it again.
I think we have to get back to what makes you happy. What kind of food makes you happy? Why are you eating what you're eating, right? I think when you become in tune, you start understanding what you're eating. Like when I was going through my spiritual journey, I was repulsed by meat for a little while. I eat meat now, but now I'm also repulsed by chemicals. So I try to buy clean things, right? Products, food, as much as I can. And I eat in moderation. I don't eat a lot. Like if I can't overeat, it wrecks my energy, So I'm very in the moment, like, what does my energy feel like? What would assist me for what I have to do right now? And I'm not saying you have to maybe follow a plan to learn to make better choices, right? But the problem is people go too hard and they make it not fun. So you don't want to go through with it. What about like just knowing, did you move your body today? Did you take a walk? Like you don't have to have an extreme workout plan. Maybe go for a walk outside, get in nature. Little things like we need a new perspective on what health looks like. And learning should be fun. And here's the thing too, it shouldn't be easy. If anything is that easy, the thing is that you shouldn't be afraid of going through a challenge, because when you go through the challenge, don't worry about timing how quick you're going. Just go through the obstacles, like bless every obstacle that shows up, because I look at it now when I'm going through an obstacle, I realize I'm going to come out bigger and better. I always have. Every time I go through some obstacle, I look back and I'm like, wow, that really lit up my life. Like it changed my perspective. It changed who I was. It gave me a new perspective, because we have to go through the experience to really shift ourselves. So we should embrace the journey, and it doesn't have to look perfect. The problem is we compare ourselves to a success story instead of, we never see behind the scenes. So we want to we're too hard on ourselves. There's a lot of obstacles when people are going to create a goal, right? We don't always see it. Everybody has different obstacles because of how you were raised, how you think, your perspective in life, your culture affects you. We have different viewpoints. That's the beauty of the diversity of humanity. But really, the journey of the soul is to go after your dreams, to become the happiest you can be, because that's the magic in life. It's going through the obstacle. It's getting through that. It might not be easy. It might not be fast. But that's part of you becoming enlightened and becoming your best self and creating your best life. So we shouldn't be afraid of that.
Yeah. The thing, I also now two things. One thing I forgot now, but
It'll come later.
Comes later. But yeah, the people should. It's always the should, but yeah, make what makes you happy. But there, in my eyes, we also have to differentiate, because we really have to make a difference between this makes me happy, but it's unhealthy as fuck. Then there's the other side that makes me also happy, but I don't have the discipline for it. So, but as you said also earlier, it starts with the mindset. And then it's also in my own journey. So sometimes we just fall back into old patterns, and sure, this healing journey takes time, and it's not a quick fix. It's not just like you buy pills from the pharma industry and then you have this quick fix and then your problem is solved. And so there's always the other side. Everything has a price, right? Everything has a price. And when you just want to live more healthy and create your desired life, then it has a price, yes. But when you follow these new tasks, these new habits you want to develop in your, you also feel much better afterwards, right? So I saw this also now with in the past I was smoking a lot. So and I said, yeah, this makes me happy. This makes me happy, and so and I just thought, okay, why not? Because it makes me happy, and we have to enjoy life here. But it's a completely other thing, because when we really want to become a healthier and wealthier version of ourselves, we have to think long term. We can't just think always in the short terms. So, yeah, I smoke now one already in the morning the whole day. So this helps us. And now also I come to the second point. Now it was coming in again, with the dreams. So more and more, or not more and more, it's just facts how our world is working, but not anymore that much, because more and more people get awakened, it's more enlightened, and uh, find or start on this healing journey and self-discovering journey. But when we are children, and we grow up as adults, somewhen we lose a bit this capability of dreaming, right? And there I think it starts also with again, right? So with imagine, hey, yeah, I can create my desired life. So do you have also experiences with that, for example, also with the average of the 5 people, or with your surroundings, with that what you consume, etc., etc., and just think in big terms, and start again with really dreaming from a better life?
Yeah, I think the most important thing you can do is to follow your dreams. And I think, or to follow creating a desired life. And I ask people, one of the most empowering things, it's simple too, because a lot of people say they don't know what they want. I think a lot of people know what they want, but they are afraid to admit it because they don't believe it could happen.
Such
So
an
I believe,
important point.
yeah, I think journaling, I'm a big journaler. I think I like to write ideas down. And I've had a lot of things. Journaling has helped me awaken too, because I was always journaled, like had a diary as a kid since I was 11. I would write, but I would complain about my life.
Yeah.
I started doing a gratitude journal when I got into practice, writing like
Mm.
every day at least 5 things to be grateful for. And then the list turned into like 25 things of a full page. And then realized after a period of like doing this every day for like 3 years, I realized I don't need to complain in my original journal anymore. Like now all I see is gratitude. Like, look what happened in my day. How exciting is that? What a blessing. You start noticing small things because you
Yeah.
have to reorient yourself. This is what I mean. The journey doesn't have, I'm not going to, of course, there's challenges. You have the strength to go through the challenges because you have a different perspective. You're counting your blessings. It's a magical journey. You have a question, and now you don't know where the answer is going to come from. But guess what? Now you turn on the right podcast, and it talks about what you were thinking about, and
Yeah.
it gives you a resource to go to, right? Or
Yeah.
you go to the Netflix, and now the movie is giving you an awakening to, oh, that's the piece I needed to see. Or you meet someone, you have a conversation with someone, and they have an answer for you. Life becomes synchronistic. It becomes magical. It starts to become fun and joyous. And you start
Yeah.
seeing the blessings on the way. You start seeing your challenges as blessings. You see, and I think when people give up, they're too stuck in the problem. They're too stuck in the drudgery instead of seeing the magic in life. So that's why I think it's so important to get reoriented in looking at gratitude, appreciation, writing out your dreams, even if you don't think they can come true. Just that's the process of opening yourself up to a new way.
Yeah, you mentioned something so important, and it's fun that you mentioned that now, journaling. So I journal also now since a longer time, and also when I started with journaling, it helped me so much because sometimes we are so deep in the self doubts and this just we are too hard on ourselves or in the complete other direction that some people don't believe anymore in themselves and don't believe anymore that they can create a better life for themselves, and they just accept the situation how it is. Sure, acceptance is important, but we don't have to accept just this life we're living right now, but truly deeply in us we don't want to live that life how it is right now, but some people just accept it completely and don't make anything about it because maybe they have fear or they have, I don't know what they have, but because I was knowing, no, I don't want to live my life like that. I have to create my dream life. And so why not just give our best to create it as the opposite and make nothing, right? And then comes journaling in the game. And journaling also changed so much for me, and I also developed my own way to journal, and I make there also today at the time we record now this video Sunday evening I make a free session how to flow journal. And yeah, it's completely life changing, right? So
I agree.
yeah, and I think the most important thing is don't stop to believe in yourself. Don't stop to believe in your dreams. Just keep moving. Just keep shining. Just just keep going forward in that direction you want to go.
Yeah, and especially if something like dark stuff comes up, right? Stuff you don't want to
Yeah,
deal with. Just accept it. That's part of life. We have been stuck in the negative for so long. Of course you're going to have the negativity come up. It has to come up to heal. So when you feel the doubt, when you feel the fear, just say, "Oh," just acknowledge it. Just be aware of it and just be okay.
yeah,
I mean, for me, I know I always had this percept of perfection. Like, "Oh, I'm
yeah,
not doing it right." So I judge myself when I go into a bad mood or,
yeah,
something like that. But really, it's like, it's okay. Maybe something's coming up to heal. And
yeah,
it doesn't, this idea of perfection isn't even real. We are human creators. We create through contrast. So you need the positive and negative. We just been stuck in the negative too long. We have to shift ourselves back into the positive, and then the negative that the just comes in and out, like just to help us create. We don't have to get stuck there. But when you feel it, of course you're going to feel it. It's been years probably. So honor it. And it won't even last as long. It won't grip you as long. It won't kill you. We're
yeah.
so afraid to feel that, but I think it's important to honor it.
Yeah, it's so wonderful this whole journey here on life. So I would say also we come slowly to the end, but before I have also two other questions. And the first question is, which tips do you have when someone wants to write a book? Where to start?
Oh,
Also because we talked about this part with the financial freedom, so that can gives you more time back, that you have more time to invest in yourself, healing journey, etc., etc. Maybe someone want to write a book, or yeah, where to start?
gosh, to write a book. It's funny. It really just, it's so crazy. I was not planning to write my book 3 years ago, but when I
Yeah,
wrote it, I started April of 2020.
Okay.
because everything was locked down. So it really kind of, all my plans, everything I was doing was put on hold.
Yeah.
And I just had time, and I was angry about what was happening. And I thought, this isn't right what's happening. I'm like, if everybody understood health the
Yeah.
way I understand it, this
Yeah.
would not be happening. I knew that. So I'm like,
Mm.
maybe it's time to put my story down. I don't know what's going to do with it, but I just started typing. And somewhere, it's weird. See, you get things like something came at that time where I happened to see, like, on YouTube, something popped up, like this person who was an author decided to write, I don't know if it was 3 pages a day or 10 pages a day, whatever works for
Yeah.
you. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to write this many pages a day and
Yeah.
see where it leads me. And that's what I did. And I had my book done in like 2 weeks. It's not a long book. It's only like 90 pages.
Oh.
I looked at it and I'm like, this is the message I want.
Yeah.
And then my friend said, I gave it to her. Like, she was somebody who had like, I could trust, like, I kind of want her opinion. I'm like, I wrote this, like, would you look at it? And she said, I helped. She happened to help someone self-publish a book, which I didn't know. Like, you know what I mean? This is the things that happen. It's just, and so it was through Balboa, which is a publishing arm of Hay House, which Hay House is like, Louise Hay is like the queen of self-development, right?
Yeah.
So I knew that brand, and I was like, oh, I love Hay House. So I'll see what happens.
Yeah. Cool.
And I did. And they edited a lot out because I couldn't talk about certain people, even though I wasn't bad mouthing people. I was doing it from a perspective of how I awakened from the experience. But, so they edited some things out. That's why it is smaller. But they said, you have a book here. You could do this. So I had them publish it. I had a book, like, by the end of this, that was in May, and by September, I had the book. And then I ended up going more and did the audio. I had the audio done, but they did it for me. And it's amazing because it was just simple going through that,
Wow.
in that respect, because they did it. There might be other ways to do it, but that was my experience. And it was streamlined. But the book wasn't planned. That's the crazy part. I thought, I'm going to figure out the financial freedom, but me building my business was put on hold because I was doing everything networking. I was networking in-person events, and I lost them for almost 2 years. So I had to reorient everything I was doing. So I was kind of like, that was a big obstacle. And I'm still recovering from that. But other gifts come from it, right? So you don't know.
Right. Yeah. Wow. But that's again just that's just make it and just going with the flow, and just sometimes say to your mind, shut up, okay, you just listen now on the heart, on the divine, what comes through you, and then just make it, and hey, let's see what comes out of it, right? That's so beautiful. And yeah, one question that I ask everyone always here on my podcast is, what do you think the world needs right now the most?
Can you repeat it, Felix? Because
sorry. What do you think needs the world right now the most?
Oh, wow. I think we need more open-mindedness, compassion, joy. And when you're in that state, you feel more love. Like when you say, oh, it needs more love, it sounds so cliche, but really, I tapped into higher vibrations. And I believe I live from there now. That's kind of, I talk about that in my book. I call it my grace state. That's why I named my book My Journey to Grace. I believe that's our natural state. And so if everybody starts to tap into that higher state of, it's a love vibe, and doesn't even do it justice. There's no words to describe the grace state. I do the best I can, but it's like you fall in love with life. You fall in love, but there's no other person there. It's just you're in love with life. That's what we're all looking for. So the inner work is going to bring you to that love of life. When you have love of life, now you find joy in everything, right? Even the obstacles. There's really no problems. It's not that you're not going to feel emotions, not you're going to feel anger or sadness, but you don't stay there very long. because
Yeah.
you're in that higher vibe, and that's what the world needs. That's what we're actually shifting into. I know that in my heart.
Yeah.
We're shifting into that gray state, and humanity's going to go blissed out. Watch. And we're going to, all this old stuff that's been enslaving us is going to crumble. We're going to create a new world for ourselves from this bliss state, and we're going to create heaven on earth. Because I've already tapped into that for myself here.
Yeah.
And I know that's what's happening for the whole humanity, for consciousness. So we have to really have more compassion for ourselves, for other people, a little more patience. I say this to myself too, because I get very frustrated and angry with people and critical. So just more awareness, have more self-compassion, do things that make you happy, little things, whether it's take time to enjoy a cup of coffee, enjoy the sunrise, or enjoy the sunset, enjoy the conversation you're having with the person. Be present. Life doesn't have to be perfect, but you find these little moments throughout your day that are joyous or happy or peaceful. Honor them, and you'll get more and more. And that's us shifting into the gray state, where eventually that's going to reach a critical mass, and we're going to live in this heaven on earth. I believe in every fiber of my being, that's what we're going to.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I also had it in mind when you said it, just before you said it, heaven on earth. Yeah, we here together, and it's depend on each of us. It's really depend on each of us, and then we just create a new, better world together. That's beautiful. Yeah. So where did people can find you and maybe also contact to you? What's the best way?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's creatingmydesiredlife.com. Go there and you can contact me. You can get on my emailing list, or you can find my book there as well.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Then I just link everything from you down in the description. And then I really have to say it was a honor that you was here. It was really a blessing, and it was a wonderful conversation with you. And also maybe the listeners want ask something, maybe we can make also somewhere a next episode together, and then we can also talk about some questions from the listeners. Also, dear listener, you can also put a question down in the comments. And
I would love that, Felix, anytime. I think that would be amazing. Thank you. I
Yeah.
love talking with you.
Yeah, and when you have final last words, I give you the stage, and when not,
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, it just was a blessing. Wonderful to talk to you. And
Yeah, I feel the same. It was an honor talking to you. You're a kindred spirit. I know you're on this journey, and I just like to tell people, your happiness is important. It's there for a reason. The little joys that you feel, that's your soul speaking to you. So just don't ignore it. That's why we're here.
wonderful, wonderful. Then I wish you all much love, and see ya in the next episode. Bye bye, Lynn.
Bye, Felix. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye bye. Peace.